It's Honey and I. Thanks everybody for stopping by. I'm going to start with a little bit of music.
Take it away, feeling too good to me. Chilling all day, all in your space is where I wanna be. Here in this room, what did you do? I just can't get enough. Too caught up in your love. I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain wants you. I've been hanging by myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you. Yeah, you always make me feel like home. Yeah, you never leave my thoughts alone. Yeah, you're the reason I'm going out of my mind. I just can't stop thinking about you.
Alright, I'm feeling the music from Epidemic. That was Yeah You. I am looking to see some of the artists' names, so I will have to go over here. So, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. I'm in the background. I'm still good.
So, you had a question. You were asking me about, I wish I could get how you worded it about what is it that they don't like, or, we were just kind of talking about the workplace, almost as if, like, is there a specific thing that you did to them? How were you saying that?
Well, basically, the question was for the people that were working with you. What was it about you that they did not like? What was it about you? Was it that you made them actually do their job? Did you actually find things that you needed to do? Because you did always say, if I had to relax, I could do that at home. I don't need to sit at work and relax. So if I'm here to do a job, I'm paid to do a job, let's do the job. And that's what I was trying to find out. What was it about you that these ladies didn't like?
Well, specifically, I think that what causes me, in the workplace, I am productivity driven I know that sounds like, well, dang, D, then don't get a job. But no, I should have the right to work as a Black woman. And I find that where it was more resistant for me to be able to just do what I do, it was in Denver, Colorado, in corporate admin clerical spaces, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like when I come to, if I come to work, I want to have the same experiences that white women have, right? Or that Mexican women have. So I just want to be able to come to work and do what I do and not have people have an issue with the way that I am. I'm a productivity person to where every hour on the hour, let's do something until it's break time. And then when it is, and let's do the work fairly. Don't overwhelm one person with the work while other people are sitting and being lazy, right? So fair distribution of work. Do that within the, I'm sorry, I had to have it turned down. I don't know the copyrights on that one. I have the music copyrights, but so fair distribution of the work, and if it's a break time, go on break. If it's a slow time, if time is slow, fine. But if there's work to do, let's get it done. And by having every hour that's not break, that's not lunch hour, having every hour with something to do, even if the project is light.
Yeah, but how do you actually make that work for you, though? You're in a workplace where you have a bunch of young kids who basically want the position without actually doing the job. So, I mean, how does equal distribution of the work look to you?
Well, leadership for me, and I'm not just picking on one particular job. I'm seeing from a host of jobs since 2018, right? Just being in the Colorado area, I'm seeing a host of jobs where leadership is mediocre, right? So leadership is not, it takes a good leader to, you don't have to, it seems like leadership wants friendships. And they want to be cool with people. And when you get into that atmosphere, it's almost like parenting.
Yeah.
So if you decide to be cool with your children, you're going to get a whole bunch of, bite me mom type response type interactions with your staff, right? And you're going to find it harder and harder to be able to get your staff to do the things that they need to do. So for me, bad leaders. So I'm a natural leader, right? But black women are probably like the current company. It's only 10% black people in management. Those are legit statistics that can be found online, right? And then if you take the statistics for Colorado or the Denver area as a whole, you probably have only 1% of African Americans in leadership, in management. So you arrive on the job where you're having to be, what's the word for it? You're having to be in a position where you're not leadership. So you're a skilled leader, but because they're not going to allow your black skin to be in leadership, you have to be submissive to people that are not even capable of leadership without being called out. The only time after multiple experiences, the only time they want to be the ultimate leader is when you, a skilled leader who isn't being given the title, says, okay, you know what, this is not, and now they're challenged, and now they're competitive, and now they feel like, oh, okay, well, I need to prove myself against the points that she's making, because they feel less than deserving of the position that they've been given, only because they prefer, like this particular company, 17% of the leadership are Mexican or Hispanic, and then the rest of the leadership is white.
So do you feel like there's no way for you to grow in a company like that, or do you just have to, I don't know, like so many black people do, actually just play the game to at least get a position or get a foothold in a company? I mean, how do you feel like you handle it?
I feel like I had a friend, say to me, she said, you're always so brave, and I always fear for you, for how the outcome's going to be, because I always know when these things come up on a job, you are going to say something. I feel that I am the trendsetter when I see this happening in a company. I'm okay with having enemies, because my grandmother taught us growing up, we're not on jobs to make friends. Don't hang out with people that you work with. Don't, no social interactions. I don't do the happy hour. I will go to the company-led luncheons or company-led events like Paint with a Twist or, something like that. I will go to those events and interact as a team. But on my own personal time, when I am done for the day, going to meet you at a bar or going to your house and you come to my, I don't do that, because it causes complications later when I have to call out something that I see, and now you have a problem with me on a personal level also, because I allowed you into my personal world. So for me, how I handle it is I'm speaking up. Okay. I think about the person sitting in my office after me. Okay. All the time when I'm doing whatever it is that I do, because I feel like only for a reason and a season are we where we are, right? So I'm here for this moment, and if the people appreciate it and respect it, then I will be here longer. And if they don't appreciate it and they don't respect it, well, this will be for a short time, and I'm still going to be me and speak up.
You know, sometimes I wonder if the reason why people have so many issues with people of color being in management because they think we're going to take revenge against them or something like that.
You know what? I think that it is people, it's just the biases. And for so long, it's been okay. Like someone said in many articles that were put out this year, they said, as you guys get ready to celebrate Black History Month, as you get ready to celebrate on a national level, Juneteenth, celebrate by putting Black people in management. That would be the ultimate celebration. That would be the paradigm shift to what we've seen in the past, because they fear that you're going to be great at it. That's why they try to do the constant microaggressions to belittle you and put you down and have an issue with. You could be doing absolutely nothing at all, and they're going to find something to have an issue with to keep you being viewed from the main management table as the problem. You could be something that isn't even a problem. You could have been really good at it, but who's going to highlight what you're good at to those who could give you a raise, those who will do
but we're always
your evaluation
as the problem. We as people of color are always going to be seen as the problem or the aggressors,
right?
Or whatever. So, you know.
But we're not, and the thing is, not as every culture has problem makers on the job, right?
Yeah.
But if you just, it's the biases that exist in the minds of the people by the majority in Colorado, that if I see a Black person a part of a situation, here's a good example, right? And you're aware of it, but the listeners may not be, right? So we'll jump to a song, and then I'm going to share an example of a situation that happened and how that somehow turned out to, what's obvious in what's being shared. You all might pick out the obvious troublemaker or the obvious problem person, but when it all was said and done, I was the problem, and that was only a skin color thing. There's no other way to look at it. Sometimes people are intimidated by how comfortable I am with calling a thing. But I'm very much that way. I call a thing, and I say, you know, this is just what it is, and this is uncomfortable, but I'm willing to talk about it. And a lot of people get squirm in their seats. They're uncomfortable with uncomfortable conversations to the point where, now you're a problem because you bring that up. And I'm sitting relaxed in it, like, hey, here's a town hall moment, right?
Yeah. So
I'm going to share that, but let me get you guys on this real quick. Vicky Fox, Wasted Love.
Come on over, let's pick up where we left off. You and I had lots of love just to top it off. We can wind it down for days, never let it stop. I just want your everything, baby. Maybe later we can dance, never let go. Listen to our favorite songs on the radio. Losing up and lose ourselves to this feeling, oh. I just want your everything, baby. I'll be deep under your influence tonight. Ooh, keep it coming, babe. I don't mind another round. Drinking from your bottle, baby. Calling it wasted love, wasted love. I can't get enough of my baby. I'ma be wasted love, wasted love.
So we were talking about like how I have a situation to share where I was made to be the problem, right?
Right.
I don't like how that came out. Oh, sorry about that, you guys. So, okay, bring me back to where I was made to be the problem in a situation where this person is actually the wrongdoer, and I'll let you kind of do a prerequisite of kind of what I'm talking about on a job that I was on before, right? Where that person said something was out of line, yelling, screaming, rude, and what was your thought when I shared it with you as to who was wrong?
Well, I mean, when you think about somebody being aggressive on a job or using racial slurs as if you guys are sitting on the block, I mean, first and foremost, we're not friends. We are supposed to be coworkers. And when you said these things and then told me that the management was part of the conversation and nothing was done, I was appalled. And I mean, me myself personally, I mean, I commend you for sticking it out as long as you have. But at the same time, I feel like the management there did nothing for the situation, not to make the situation better, not to make it easier, anything. All they did was play along with
Right.
the situation as it went. So
Right. So when the situation happened, just to bring the listeners in, there were many moments that happened. The first thing that I was told when I shared what happened, the first thing that I was told was, well, why didn't you tell us? Or why didn't you this? And, what is it that you did? So the moment that someone says, well, what did you do wrong to cause that to happen as a response, it's literally why I take my time to share what's going on. Because every reaction doesn't need a response right away, right? That's just life in general, especially in the workplace. So I give people the benefit of the doubt that the person could be having a bad day. But this person was having a multitude of bad days. This is my first month into working in the office with this person, and the bad days were starting to be more directed towards me. And there were some things around the behavior of the person that said to me, okay, she has a problem with me. Even though she's trying to act like she doesn't, she has a problem with me she doesn't know me, so it has to be skin color, right?
of course.
From the here, and people say, well, why do you make it racism right away? Here's some of the signs, right? One day the girl came in and she printed out a couple of pictures, and she put a picture of a monkey on the whiteboard. And she put a picture of a monkey on another area in the office. The next day, she came in and she bought a little toy monkey, and did little antics around the office. Well, this is my favorite. I love my little monkey. I just love monkeys. This and that, right? So all of that is something that me, as the adult who understands that racism is not going to go anywhere anytime soon in the United States, I'm the person that says, I can deal with that. That's just, she's young. She's clearly in her early 20s is what we thought, but we find out later she was actually under 21. But, she's super young, so she's got this super young mindset. Constant conversations about my dad is the KKK. Got it. So I hate every time you try to have conversations that are not related to work, right? Like everyone's going to be in an office environment where you may have a little downtime. So entertainment is kind of a safe place to go so that you're not talking about things that are inappropriate, right? So you want to, it's a fine balance that has to happen in the office space because you just can't, right?
Yeah.
So she was anti-everything black. I hate Colin Kaepernick. Of course, we know that where that goes. I hate Lil Nas X. I hate Beyonce. I hate this person. And every artist, I hate Jay-Z. I hate Lil Wayne. I hate this. That. So every artist spoken of, or any actress spoken of that was black,
You hate something.
that's where your issues were. So it was already enough signs to say, okay, I see where I stand with you on your personal beliefs. There's no need for me to call that out. The only time that I got involved was
when the N-word was dropped and
the aggressive behavior to address me happened, right? So a moment happens, and my enough is enough moment happened when I'm sorry, I was going to go over there and talk about bring the people in on Facebook. So the N-word ended up deciding to come into play. And this is when, okay, now there's a problem, right? It's one thing, like he said, that is a word that is as a part of culture, but environment is big on it. You know, so where it's used and how it's used and who uses it and how you use it matters. So we're going to talk about that in just a second. Okay, so basically what happened with this situation, like I said, so I'm enduring all of those other things, right? You know, some people say, no, you shouldn't have had to put up even with the monkey references. You shouldn't have had to put up with the obvious attitude every time something of color was spoken of. No, but that's a part of racism in the workplace. Things that if I make that an issue every day, it would be impossible to have peace of mind just getting up and going to work, which is a daily essential and a necessity for all, especially in this time, right? So in this economic downfall that we're going through, right? So it was the moment when I said, you know, of course, she comes in, she's having a bad day. Her bad days consisted of coming in most days, laying down either on her desk or getting under her desk and taking a whole 1 hour, 2 hour nap. Like, I don't want to be bothered. You know, anything you do is on my nerves, right? Yeah. Micromanaging training. I'm an admin, so admins. I'm an admin since the year of 2000. Things that we don't need to be micromanaged and trained on. Creating an email. Making coffee. Any type of hospitality of any sort. Customer service on any level. You know, just some things. Yes, I do need to be trained on how things go in your workspace, but don't overdo it. Once you see that I've learned it, go ahead and keep going. You know, but there was a moment the week before the incident happened, she was sitting over with management and she was having a conversation with her, and she asked me to do something. I'm going to just go ahead and do the task at hand if it's a fair request. Right. How you deliver it, I may not always care for how you deliver it, but there's not always a need to address that. Like you pick your battles, right? So I'm always in pick your battles mode, right? So she told me to, hey, D, can you take this and put this over there, right? No, she said, take this and go put it over there. So there was no, I'm Southern, so will you please, hey, do you mind if,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I get you.
So that didn't happen, but I could overlook that because you pick your battles, right? So I did the request, took it and moved it. As I was getting ready to do the request, I heard her whisper to the manager, watch her. She's just going to do it whatever you say like a slave.
No, ma'am.
Now I'm tired. Mentally. I think my exhaustion kicked in at that moment. So the week later, don't act as if this one incident, oh my God, why do you have to report it and make it such a big deal when I'm telling you all these other things have happened for a month and a half? And the icing on the cake was definitely the whole look at that slave run comment. And then you turn around and I'm already enduring all of that. And then you turn around and you decide that you're going to have a moment and starts yelling. You're getting because I said, oh, I'm not. That is something that I don't have to do. She had threw early morning, threw one of those requests out for me to do that was disrespectful. That said, that's not something that I have to do. I'm going to do it this way when the manager comes in, because the manager comes in 2 hours after the staff. Mm-hmm. Go figure. So I said, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that after she comes in if she feels that is necessary. So because she's having a bad day, which was constant personal issues going on in this person's life. Yeah. So because she's having a bad day, she goes on. I think I labeled this podcast as explicit so that I could be, explicit. Explicit, right? Like and this upset you. Because when it happened, you were like, go. I want you off.
Yeah.
You're not working there no more.
And people don't understand that, this was not me just, trying to be the macho, stand up for whatever, but that was some disrespectful on some real shit. Black people, we don't need people talking to us like that, and we won't allow people talking to us on a job like that.
Right.
I mean, who in that?
Okay. Who does that? Right. That's really literally it. And so
who would allow
what he said talking about will bring you guys in now. So she said to me, and I'll paraphrase some of the things because a lot of it I wanted to put in the back of my mind so that I could continue to do the job that I had been hired to do. Right? Because I don't quit, and firing me is not an option. You have to have a justified reason. If you fire me for a legit reason, that's fine. But I have a legacy of making sure that I'm not fired off of jobs, right? Mm-hmm. So once we no longer work for each other, let's just take a mutual parting and go separate ways. 2 weeks resignation kind of life. That's how I like to live my life, right? So this girl said, bitch, you're going to do what I said. Blah, blah, blah. Fuck you, bitch. Why don't you get out of here then, bitch? Fuck you. Quit, bitch. Leave today, bitch. You're fired, bitch. And just went on a rant. That you guys just heard, that literally happened. So my children were like, mother. And he was like, babe, what did you do in that moment? And do you know, it was, and I am not religious anymore at all. It's just a particular song that I happen to love this song because it's a ground yourself type of song. And in the moment of everything happening, I said, I'm not going to, the way that she expects me to respond, because it was obvious at that moment, like it was on purpose. Like a black woman's going to just go off on me if I do this. Because your young mind think that we're all alike in that sense, right? Now, I know many, many black women that I've had this conversation about. She was like, fuck you, nigga. Fuck you, nigga. So once all that had went down, everybody was like, I would have, and I'm like, you know what? I did it. So this song came to mind, Canton Jones, religious song, gospel, has nothing to do with anything because I'm not religious in any sorts anymore. But the song came to me, and it's about when people try to try you, and he said, I'ma stay saved, And I was like, D, you're not going to give this girl what she's trying to do. What the young child didn't know is the verbal wordsmith standing in front of you, I would have taken you out verbally. You would have passed out on the ground physically if I had responded the way that D responds. The best way to describe the way that I respond when I am going to hand you and read you all of your rights, and people literally end up crying when I'm done.
She could professionally hurt feelings.
I professionally bring you to tears if I'm going to bring it to you. And the best movie description is Deliver Us from Eva. Gabrielle Union, Zero. That's D. Deliver Us from D. But I didn't, because I knew that that was what was expected. I also felt that the manager was way more involved than she tried to portray. Her unexpected thing is that I went immediately, took it to higher, above all pay grade levels. Immediately. Because it's either let the higher leadership know what's going on at this point, or I'm going to read some rights. Right?
Somebody going to know something.
And I'm better than that. This is an office building, as are the majority of office locations that I have been in since 2018 in Colorado, where I'm the only black person in the space. That has been like that at every admin clerical that I've been on. So I have a higher obligation of representation that is expected out of me by myself to not go there. I hear all of y'all chattering in the background. If it was me, people said things to me like, girl, you must be weak. You don't know my level of strength to not give that the energy in return that it was to not that it deserved.
But I understand why you did it the way you did it, because that was actually the better way to do it. You know, a lot of people forget sometimes hurting somebody's pocket is so much more than trying to hurt them physically. Hurting somebody physically is a brief and fleeting moment, but hurting somebody's pocket, oh shit.
Or hurting their whatever you were trying to do, destroying it in a calm manner and not giving it the response that they expected.
Oh yeah.
It shakes people.
Oh yeah.
You shook.
Oh yeah.
Because you were so sure of who you thought that I was, because you look at me, oh, when I see you, you look mean. I thought you were mean. That's a microaggression statement. Those words should not be used in the workplace, especially a workplace where the only black person, you're saying that to the only black person. Mm-hmm. That's a microaggression. It should not be allowed.
Mm-hmm. But they did.
But it did happen.
They did that. They let it happen.
They did let it happen. And so for me, I feel that there is not enough done, because many people are, like you said in the beginning, to do what? Just don't say nothing. How did you say that? How most people work on a job, they're just gonna let it be.
Mind their business, just go ahead and do what they gotta do.
For the paycheck.
Yeah. Play the game.
I'll sacrifice. I'll lose the paycheck if it'll open the door and expose behaviors that shouldn't happen, make room for improvement and retraining. You don't always have to fire people when things are brought up. That's the first thing that people think. You trying to get me fired? No, your actions may get you fired. Your reaction may get you fired. But there's room for improvement if people will just accept the criticism for what it is. I told you that what happened should not have happened. when I speak to people, I respect them. I give people a gift that should not be given. You should really make people earn your respect. But I have this legacy of I give people respect first. I give them the opportunity to see what they're going to do with the respect that you've been gifted. Right? So when you disrespect me, I don't feel any type of way that I have to call you out on it because I was kind enough to give you respect that I don't even know if you deserve this respect that I'm giving you. You know, sometimes walking up on a person and you don't know because of the color of their skin, whether they like you because of the color of your skin, but you're going to give them that respect in the beginning anyway, with all hopes that this interaction will go the way that it should professionally go. And when it doesn't, okay, they didn't deserve the respect that I gave them. And I now have to take this and go XYZ, right? To get this resolved, right? So a lot of people, to answer the question from the beginning of how we got on this topic, that's probably what they don't like about me in a workspace, that I'm willing to lose it all. Most people don't want to lose their job position. Most people don't want to lose the paycheck. Me, I have this thing that I understand about jobs, especially in the Great Resignation.
Oh, yeah.
You need me more than I need you. There are doors and windows open everywhere right now because people are refusing to work.
Yeah.
So for me to give you my loyalty and my time and to show up and to be dedicated and to be productive, that's a gift. I don't have to give that to you. There are other things that I could do with my time. And this is a secondary income for me. So because it's a secondary income, that one comes with a choice, right? It's just like the podcast. The podcast is a third source of income for me, right? So it comes with the choice. I could do it or not do it, right? Some people are really focused on it because it is their only income coming in, so they can grind harder, they do more, they have to put a lot more into it, and I understand it and I respect that hustle. But I make time for it on a weekend basis only because I understand that this is the third source of income, and I have to make the first source has its own flow. So, but the second source of income I have to put all my energy into in order to make my mental available for it. So this I have to kind of balance it out to this is the time frame when I work on this, you know. So hopefully, what else I don't know. Did that answer your question?
No, I'm good. I mean, you basically just laid it out there on what everything is, and you know, I get it. I see what you go through, and I have my own moments of what I go through, and you know,
for you, we're at 4 minutes, and we're gonna come back and have a talk your next weekend or next time we record.
Yeah,
but for the most part, do you feel that you go through these things? And I'll let you close the show. We're like 5 minutes.
I will feel like I don't go through the things that you go through. And in all honesty, I'm just going to be frank, and, you know, people can take it how they want it. But, you know, I know what I like when it comes to things. I know my mannerisms when it comes to a job. I know what I'm going to do when I get to the job. And the truth of the matter is, I'm just that really cool black guy that white people just want to be around.
I'm not talking.
And
I'm not talking.
It's a gift and it's a curse.
At the same time.
It's a curse because I am nobody's token black person.
No. I don't mean it against you.
No. I know what you mean, but I'm just saying it's a curse because, you know, I don't want to be that guy that everybody wants to be cool with because I'm the fallback on, hey, I have a black friend, or there's this black guy at work and he's fucking amazing. I don't want to be that black guy at work. I just want to be an amazing employee who does the job and people love and respect for what I do.
But what they don't know, the listeners don't know, immediately in the Colorado area every time he shows up, he could show up for a lower level position, and he is always given the management position.
Yeah.
Immediately, point, yeah. Because they give, and many, a handful of black men will be able to stand with him and say, yeah, that happens to me too. They, for some reason, they respect black men, but they have a major distaste for black women in leadership.
I don't know if respect would be the proper word.
Or allow.
They allow us in managerial positions. And the truth about it is, if we ever get to a point where someone above the person's head who appointed us management, we become a threat. And then our productivity or our loyalty to the company comes in question when they feel like, oh shit, this guy might actually get promoted over me, or somebody may see how much work he's actually putting into the company and tied that work into some of these duties are mine.
Right.
But
and so now they're going to start putting limitations on it. Yeah.
And then they're going to start limiting what you can do. Or, like I said, intentionally putting you in harm's way when it comes to the company because you're not doing what needs to be done. But yeah, we can talk more on that on our next segment, and I don't know. I'm excited to dive into these matters.
Yeah, decompression via conversation is what I put in the description, and it's so important to talk to each other and talk, because sometimes people don't understand what's going on in the other's life and the reason why they may be a little bit reserved or, not having time for, the typical couple dates, because we could be packing on a lot of things in our personal lives individually that, you're not always able to put into the do it for the gram, Instagram dating moments that people are always so up and available and ready to share. So decompression by way of conversation, that's our thing. Adultish in matter. Thanks you guys for coming by. We appreciate you. We're going to go ahead and put a little music to the last few seconds.